Madam Moderator and fellow participants. Allow me to read something out to you. The ancient Indian king after whom this university is named asked the question, what is Dhamma? He answered, it is having few faults and many good deeds. Mercy, charity, truthfulness and integrity. I commit myself to these values and through them move from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light and from death to immortality. That's the university oath that outgoing students and hopefully all of us shall one day be swearing to at our graduations. Mercy, charity, truthfulness and integrity. Following from the traditions and teachings of the emperor, integrity has today stumbled down from the rock edicts and stares all of us in our face today. For me, that's the most important ideal as was highlighted by the emperor. And I shall be directing my 1200 words to speak about the illegal establishment outside the university gates. So picture the long lines, picture the good times and let me paint the rest. Let's talk about social integrity first. You know, there's this new Netflix show, Wild Wild West. It's an interesting show and it follows the history of the Osho cult. It follows how there's the city of Rajneeshpuram which is set up in the state of Oregon in America, and it shows also how the utter disregard for the Rajneeshi community for the surroundings sows the seed for a protracted conflict with the original inhabitants of the Vasco County. Now, Ashoka University is no cult, or at least I hope so. But I don't need to point out the stark contrasts that we have with Rajneeshpuram. We too have descended upon this entire area almost like an alien ship. Let's do a little bit of a thought experiment. Let's look at the SSP issue from the point of view of the villagers outside. So for the next 30-40 seconds, let's imagine that all of us over here are part of a Savarpur, where all those people, we are the actual owners of this land on which this university stands. Land that all of you had to forcefully sell to the government at subsidized rates. Now, what were you thinking, what were you expecting when this university was supposed to be created? A hub of learning, a paragon of virtue, a center of excellence maybe. At the very least, at least a potential opportunity for your kids to have a better education. And what are we getting? An alien socio-economic lifestyle descending all around us that's disrupting our daily lives. Inconsiderately loud partying over weekends, the bottle dripping, the grass smoking and the blood flowing. Now I ask all of you from a Savarpur whether that's what you signed up for. All is not gloomy though. Take the NEEF program for example, which teaches and helps the children of Ashoka, of a Savarpur village. An idea that is exemplary in its embodiment of social responsibility as was stressed by the emperor in his formulation of Dhamma. It shouldn't come as a surprise however that many parents from Savarpur have expressed their disillusionment with the university because of the example that we set for their children every weekend. Where is our sense of social integrity there? Even if we move on from our collective integrity, let's talk about mercy and charity, about empathy. Many have nobly advocated for the rights of the construction workers, their rights, the conditions of work and the extensive work hours have been spoken about ad nauseum. However, it is the same construction worker who toils during the day to build our campus, who has to stay up at night due to the ruckus that we create when we go out to party. Does the mere hanging of a painting at our atrium make up for our utter disregard for them outside the canvas and frame? Social integrity would require us to be both logically and sociologically sensitive about what our actions might lead to. And currently, there's no doubt in my mind, and I hope that there is no doubt in any of your minds as members of the Savarpur village, that we are falling a country yard short. You see the word Haryana, it comes from two words, Hari which means Vishnu and Ayana which means home. Now Manohar Lal Khattar, he would sure like everyone to believe that this state is an abode of the gods. But we all know that outside the Ashoka bubble, there are dangers that make it closer to a highway to hell. Now, I don't know who the Hades is in this case, but what I do know is there are serious safety hazards of going out. So let us take a step back and contemplate the larger issues at stake here. Think about what happens if an FIR gets lodged against a student from the university. Something that is not tough to contemplate, right? The consequences would be severe. It's not like our university is particularly liked by the current government anyway. And in the current polarized political environment where they want to shut us down by terming us as a second JNU, is it truly wise to continue with our parties at SSP? After all, wisdom, that's one of the tenets of what Dhamma is, what the Emperor preached. And surely, one can always come out and say that, this shouldn't happen, and what's wrong with our country, what about our freedoms? But that's almost like getting into a lion's cage and saying that, the lion should be respecting my right to existence. Sure, you can say that. So is a little bit of liquid courage truly worth getting into the lair of the lion? In our quest for alcoholic intoxication, we seem to be making a new motto. And this motto goes that we will be moving from the real to the unreal, from darkness to light, and from prospects of immortality to possibilities of death. If, as students, we are to see the back of prison bars, then might it not be for something truly worth respecting? Dhara 144 ki jagah, today it is for illegal underage drinking. Prudence would advise mending our course now, before it is too late. Before the administration has a valid justification for curtailing our freedoms for safety concerns. Yet the fact that we need to invoke Lady Prudence today shows why we are failing to live up to Ashokan ideals. And then there's also the moral obligation that we as students have to all that we are studying. Ashokan ideals, as was envisaged by our founders, involved building critical thinking abilities. For me, it was shunning our sense of entitlement and having fidelity to some idea of truth, as the Vice Chancellor had once claimed. In this campus, where on this issue, we have unanimously maintained a conspiracy of silence, let me shoot from the pistol of truth. Have we been applying our critical thinking abilities that we as a community pride ourselves on outside the classroom to try to understand the ineffable impact of our actions? There have also been these absurd arguments that what is the point of these police agencies if they're not going to be protecting us? And if we're not allowed to go out, at least there should be a bar inside campus. However, to expect the police agency to be protecting those who are themselves breaking the law, or to expect a bar to be created inside campus, it just smells of this typically Ashokan flavor of entitlement. Something that we should be shunning and not upholding. You see, there seems to be no need to remind any of us here what the law is. However, what needs to be reminded is a simple legal maxim. The law is harsh, but it is the law. And the wheel of law depicted on the Ashokan pillar demands of us to be abiding by it. We have two roads diverging on the yellow wood today, and it's a clear dichotomy of pleasures and principles. We all want to indulge ourselves in the pleasures of going out after a long weekend, after a long week of academic work, and just kicking back and relaxing and having a drink. And yet, all of us know about the consequences of this on a principled level. Integrity, as envisaged by the Emperor, in whose name we get our degrees, expects that we stand by our principles, since those are our true moral obligations. As Jefferson would have said if he lived today, in matters of principle, stand like an Ashokan pillar. And yet, pleasures still seem to be trumping integrity. And that's why I feel that we as a community have not been living up to the ideals of Ashoka. Thank you.